Dedicated to the homies who switch. Dedicated to the woman I miss. Dedicated to the. Alright. I must send out the link. Must send out link, bro. Laugh. Twin. Where have you been? Nobody loves you. Lord, where is my videos? Here we go. Cool. Send link. Copy link. Womp. Link. Paste. Wop. All right. I took enough time. Let's get it. It is February 16th, Friday, Funky Friday, Freaky Friday, whatever you want to call it. Hope everybody's doing well. Before we get started, let's send a shout out to the sponsor. Excuse me. If you want to do any podcasts like what you're watching, music videos, photo shoots, call the number on the bottom of the screen, 707 Fitboxer. Make sure you go and follow all the socials. Got some good things coming up. Thought of a new idea earlier today, but we're going to see if we can make it happen. You can catch me on all my socials at KYNGRALPH. You can find all of the socials for our podcast on the bottom at J.U.K Sports Show on Instagram, at J.U.K Media on YouTube, and the He Say She Say channel on Facebook. And before we get to the particulars of the particulars, Shaquille O'Neal had his number retired by the Orlando Magic. I thought it was a real dope moment. Good to see D. Scott, Nick Anderson, Penny, Shaq, all in the same space, same area. Giving props to a very dominant figure. Wasn't there very long as you would think, given the impact that he had. Only there for 4 years, but impact cannot be denied. He was a physical force, changed the way that the game was played, changed the way that the rims were built and made. Shaq was just a very imposing figure. One of the first big men to be able to really be able to sell shoes and make numbers, do numbers, had business booming. So big shout out to Shaq and what he was able to do for the Orlando Magic. I really hope Dwight Howard can get his number retired. I think him being there longer and having more accolades while also doing some of the same things that Shaq did, I think he deserves to have that number 12 retired as well. So, Orlando, do the right thing. Retire Dwight's number. Nobody should be wearing that number 12 anymore. I was watching some of 4th and 1 Cam Newton when he was out on, I think it was Radio Row is what they called it, during the Super Bowl events. He was festivities. He was talking to Donovan McNabb, and they started talking about impact versus rings. And it led me to a question. Which one would you rather have, the impact or would you rather have the rings? And I think when we start talking about the legacies that we have as individuals, I think that's when we got to have the conversation of impact. I think one of the reasons why Mike is so revered, not only was he winning at a high clip, his impact on the game will forever be cemented. So I think the shoes the leg sleeve, the armband, the bald head. I think all of those things are things that are legacies and impact of what it was to be. Now when you add in the rings, that's when you start to become pretty much why he's the GOAT to a lot of people. But I think when we start to have this conversation as far as the quarterback position in the NFL, it's Donovan McNabb was one of those people. Cam Newton is going to be one of those people that goes into the category of their impact is going to be everlasting, but they might not have got the ring in the NFL. I think Cam Newton was successful at everything that he did in life outside of winning a Super Bowl. He won a college championship, Heisman state championship, J.U.K championship. And so when we start to think about Donovan McNabb in the time period in which he was drafted and played through, his impact from being not the most mobile guy, but he was mobile enough, arm talent. Look at everybody now is you don't have they don't look at you as being successful without having the chance of getting a quarterback that has that type of mobility. Just to be able to move the pocket is one of those things that can take you a long way. Mahomes is not the runner that Lamar Jackson is, but he has the mobility to get you outside the pocket, have a 20-yard run if you turn your back on him, move the chains, create throwing lanes. And I think that when we look at Donovan McNabb, his impact and what he was able to do, the Dante Culpepper, Steve McNairs, they might not be Hall of Famers to a lot of people, but their impact and their legacy is going to continue to live on through the likes of a Mahomes, through the likes of a C.J. Stroud, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson is a direct effect of what happened with or getting a Michael Vick. And so I don't know. I think it's a tough question because if you ask me, am I taking impact or am I taking my rings? I think at the end of the day, we all want to win. But if you don't win, I think your impact on the game and your legacy is really what's gonna pretty much go on in the future. And so I don't know. I think for me, if I'm Cam Newton, I didn't win a ring, but I'm definitely proud to say that my impact and my legacy is going to continue to live on 10, 15 years from now. And so many people are calling her the GOAT, future GOAT, baby GOAT. Caitlyn Clark, just last night became the all-time leading scorer in women's college basketball, passing Kelsey Plum, who you know I love. One of our key players for the Aces right now. And it's leading a lot of debate, a lot of controversy, whether or not she's the GOAT of women's college basketball. Is she even the best player right now? I think it's definitely solidified. There's no one even close to her right now as we speak. I think Juju, Angel are both very good basketball players and might even have better careers. But I think as individual talent, I looked it up because I was trying to compare Juju to Caitlyn. Caitlyn is shooting almost 40 from three, almost 50 from the field. Her turnovers are a little high, but she has the ball a lot. So she still, even though her turnovers are high, she has a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, giving you 28 points a game and seven rebounds. And so the fact that she was able to do this, have this feat in less games than Kelsey. Kelsey had almost 140. I think it was like 136, 139. Some odd games. Caitlyn's did it in 126, 127 games if you include last night. And so she's scoring at 3 points more per game, and in her career this year she's averaging 32 points a game. To correct myself from earlier, she's averaging 32, 8, and 7. Like, those numbers are crazy. Now, it just depends on what you're looking for because Sheryl Swoopes, what she was able to do, And while also when she did it, like 40 point plus points in a national championship game is crazy. And then the dominance that she had going into the league, going into the WNBA, with her being one of the original members. And so it just depends on what you're looking for, what you like. I'm not sure. I'll probably be able to. Right now, I'm not going to say that Caitlyn is the greatest to ever play women's college basketball, but I will say that she's definitely head and shoulders above anybody playing right now. So next up, I forgot to put it, but Steve Wilkes was fired by the 49ers. Brandon Ayuk, his brother, goes on, posts an IG story throwing shade at the 49ers. And so it looks like there's a lot of dysfunction. And I don't know. I feel like the Steve Wilkes things it's weird because there was nothing that you could have looked at that said he needed to be fired. They had a top 3 defense. Defense got better from D'Amico Ryans, who got a head coaching job. They got better since Robert Saleh, and he got a head coaching job. And then it just seems like, I don't know, something's up with Steve Wilkes and the way that he's being treated, because he got 7 games when he took over for the Panthers last year, and they played well. He looked like they should have stayed with him, and they moved on. Then he had the 1 year in Arizona, and then this year they have a top 3 defense. They gave up 19 points in a Super Bowl, and he gets fired. It just seems very scapegoatish to me. I don't know if they scapegoated him, but it's scapegoatish, in my personal opinion. So that one surprised me. Now, the Brandon Ayuk part of it is the part for me that I'm not surprised about. My man had 3 catches, was all pro, over 1,300 yards all season, and had 3 catches with maybe 5 or 6 targets. And if he's supposed to be your number one option, which I show he's the number one, he's the number one receiver for the 49ers. I don't think there's any kind of debate on that. I feel like it's definitely a disservice to him to not get that many targets. So I think it's going to be interesting where he goes from here. I do expect the 49ers to franchise tag him to see if they can give him the amount of money. I feel like it's really going to come down to, and I don't have the particulars of the contract situation in front of me right now, but it's really going to come down to people's money, because I think with Brock, this is Brock's year 2. So I think they have 2 or 3 more years before they have to give him top quarterback money. And so I think, depending on the contracts and how they work, I think that Brandon Ayuk could end up getting top wide receiver money, if not the top wide receiver money from the 49ers. And then certain players would be able to come off the books by the time it gets to that 2 or 3 year mark, where it won't kill them financially. The money will just kind of shift around. So it's possible for them to be able to keep him, but at the same time, I think that he's someone that people are gonna want to covet. So you can see a Raiders team, you can see a Chiefs team. Him, what's my man's name? Mike Evans, and what happens with that situation? Ayuk, Jettas, Justin Jefferson, and what happens with there, because he still refuses to sign until he knows what the deal is. And so I think this offseason for the wide receiver position is going to – I heard Jalen Waddle was another one. So we'll see what happens with them. I would be really surprised if he left, but I could see it given how wide receivers are and wanting to be the number one. But he still puts up numbers regardless. So that's one I probably would pay a lot of attention to. But we'll see. I definitely hope the Raiders give it a chance. At least give it an eye, see how they feel about it. But if you don't feel confident in your quarterback, then I don't see the point in making a trade like that to get two legit number ones and then really have a middle of the road quarterback. So we'll see. But next up, All-Star Weekend it is. Kind of snuck up on me. I thought it was next week. I'm a little hurt right now because I'm playing fantasy basketball right now. And I didn't look at my lineup, and Giannis was on my bench. Giannis gave me 95 points, and I'm down by 30 points. And nothing from the All-Star Weekend goes towards your fantasy points. So pretty much I lost this week. And I was on a 3-game winning streak, trying to make a playoff push. So I'm hurt right now. But it is what it is. And so far, I believe the festivities are starting to kick off. I think the rookie game, no, it's 3 hours from now, Pacific time. They start at 7. So the celebrity game between Team Stephen A, Team Shannon kicks off at 7. Stephen A has Jennifer Hudson, CJ Stroud, Meta World Peace, Jack Ryan, AJ McLean, Kwame Onwachi, Natasha Cloud, Adam Blackstone, Tristan Joss, and Gianmarco Tambiri. Team Shannon has Micah Parsons, Jewel Lloyd, Connor Daly, Quincy Isaiah, Kai Sanat, Dylan Wong, Lily Singh, Sir, Walker Hayes, and Anwell. I feel like I'm gonna go with Team Shannon. You know, I feel like Micah Parsons is athletic enough, and him being a big imposing figure, him being able to get to the rim and be so physical, I feel like he'll be able to control the boards, and he can hoop enough. With Jewel Lloyd, I think they'll be able to put up some buckets, and so I feel like they got a little bit more athleticism. I feel like Sir is athletic. I've seen Kai. We'll see about Onwell. I feel like they have a little bit more. CJ can hoop, though. Like, I've seen CJ for real hoop. Like, CJ can really hoop. So, it just depends on, with Meta World Peace and Natasha, how do they have more hoopers? Are the hoopers better on one side? I'm a big Shannon Sharp fan, so I'm going to go Team Shannon on this one. The one I am looking forward to is the Rising Stars. They changed the format where they have a pool of players. They break them down into 4 different teams. They do 2 games, semifinal. The winner of those play in the championship. And so Team POW has Bilal, I think it's Kalabali, Jaime Jaquez, Brandon Miller, I think it's Brandon Pedominski, Jabari Smith, Kaysen Wallace, and Wemby. Team Tamika has Paolo Banchero, Dyson Daniels, Jalen Duran, Keontae George, Scoot Henderson, Jaden Ivey, Keegan Murray. Team Jalen has Jordan Hawkins, Chet Holmgren, Walker Kessler, Derek Lively, Benedict Mathurin. Shaden Sharp would be playing, but Jeremy Socon is taking over for him because he's injured. And Jalen Williams. Team Deadlift, Azan Amansa, Matas Bazelis, Ron Holland, Mac McClung, Tyler Smith, Oscar Shibesky or Shibwe, Alondis Williams, and the last team is the G League team. So a lot of the players, I think 4 of them are from the G League Ignite here. I think that team plays in Henderson, and a couple others are just players from other G League teams. And so It's tough because I feel like Team Pal has a lot of talent with Jaquez, Wimby, Brandon Miller. Wallace is a great on-ball defender. So I feel like they got at least 3, 4 dudes that can go get buckets. Where I feel like Team Tamika has, as individuals, two of the best players. I'd probably say that there are two of the four. Two of the four best players are on the same team with Keegan Murray and Paolo Banchero on the same team. It just depends on how hard are these guys going to go out there and play. I feel like the competitive juices get flowing and people want to win. And so I believe Team Tamika I would say that they would win. I would not be surprised if Team Jalen wins. I think Hawkins, Jalen Williams, Benedict, and Chet that's a tough four to throw out there. And then if you throw Jeremy in the mix, Lively and Kessler are rim protectors. Jeremy is a jack of all trades, pretty much a what they call it, a jackknife, Swiss Army knife. That's what I'm thinking of. I wouldn't be surprised if Team Jalen won, but I would be real surprised if Team Deadlift won, given that the fact that everybody is in the G League, and some are even on the G League Ignite, where technically they haven't played real NBA minutes yet. Because if you play on the G League Ignite, majority of that team is going to be up for the draft the next season. Next up, what we have next? So tonight at 7:00 we got the All Stars game, the Celebrity All Star game. Then we have the Rising Stars game is going to start after that, which should be around 9:00. Then we got that wraps up Friday. So on Saturday, we have starting off, I believe that's 5:00, the HBCU Classic between Virginia Union and Winston-Salem State, which Virginia Union has, I believe that's where Ben Wallace went. And Winston-Salem is where Stephen A. Smith went. So I think it's dope. It is pretty cool to see. It is a little weird given that it is college basketball season still. So it is a little weird to see it played at the All-Star game instead of them just playing it and then we go and showcase the game. But hopefully, or maybe I'm just reading. I've read it wrong, but I think it's real cool to be able to get that exposure. I'm curious as to how they pick the games and what teams and whatnot, given the ties to basketball that both teams hold. So I'm curious how they pick these teams, but I think it's dope. Giving some exposure to some HBCUs during Black History Month. It's not really done. It just depends on how they do it because I haven't seen the game. So I mean, as long as they're not doing it in a corny way, then I'm cool with it. Next up, we got the Kid Skills Challenge, and they've changed the format for that. They got different teams. So Team Pacers is Halliburton, Mathurin, Miles Turner. They got Team Top Picks, which is Paolo Banchero, Anthony Edwards, and Wemby. And then they got Team All-Stars with Scotty Barnes, Tyrese Maxey, and Trae Young. And so they start off the game with I believe it's like a full court pass. And it's pretty much the skills challenge. It's a combination of passing, being able to get down the court and in between obstacles and shooting. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see Team Pacers win at home, but I'm going to go Team Top Picks because I feel like everybody can move with the ball, can pass, and shoot. Now, the passing part might be the weak spot of this team, where I feel like Team All-Stars, Maxey and Young can shoot. So as long as it's not Barnes doing the shooting and then all of them being playmakers and being able to pass the ball pretty well. I'm gonna go team top picks, but I wouldn't be surprised if any of these guys won. But I'll probably go top picks, Pacers, and then team all stars in the odds of who's gonna win those. Next up, we got the 3-point contest, and then followed by that, there's gonna be a 3-point contest between Steph and Sabrina. But let me look up who's in the 3-point contest. All right, so the Starry 3-point contest will include Malik Beasley, interesting, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Halliburton, Dame Lillard, Lauri Markkinen, Donovan Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns, Trae Young. And so Dame is the defending champ. Cat has won before. I don't think anybody else has won on this list. I don't know. This is one that's like, I wouldn't be surprised to see Trae win. I feel like he's tired of getting disrespected. Because with Dame having a shaky season, although he's the defending champ, typically I'll just go with whoever the champ is and let them rock. But I'm going to go Trae Young. I think Trae Young is going to pull this one out, given who is there in the field. If Steph was there, I'd probably feel a little better. But I think the next one is going to be pretty cool because I think Steph has won. Steph is recognized as the greatest shooter. Sabrina, in the history of basketball, Sabrina is one of the best shooters in the WNBA. She won this past year's 3-point championship, and she set a record while doing it. So I think this one's going to be a real interesting one. I'd like to see Sabrina win, but it's hard to go against the GOAT of that particular category of what you're doing. And so I'm going to go Steph. I'm definitely going to go Steph to win that one, but I would like to see her win. I just don't think she will. All right, next up, we got the slam dunk contest. I know for a fact Jaylen Brown is in the slam dunk contest, which is really dope to see. It's the AT&T slam dunk contest. We got Jaylen Brown, Jaime Jaquez, Mac McClung, who is defending champ, and Jacob Toppin, who is the younger brother of Obi Toppin. And I'm happy to see Jaylen Brown in this because we don't really get all-stars in the slam dunk contest anymore. So I'm really curious to see how he does. Mac McClung has been a YouTube sensation when he was in high school and lived up to his hype being in the slam dunk contest last year, giving him back another go around at it. I don't really know Jaquez as a dunker, so I'm curious how that works. And then I know Obi Toppin is a high flyer, so I'm curious to see what happens with Jacob. I'm going to go with Mac McClung for the repeat. I just think his creativity, living up to the YouTube sensation hype that he had, I just feel like he's going to win again. I would be surprised to see if someone else outdid him. Just from a creativity standpoint. If he misses a dunk, then that's really the only way that's going to open up chances for anybody else to even come close to him. And so wrapping up, we got the All-Star game itself. And let me see. They went back to the East-West format. And so given the talent, I feel like the West just has too much talent. Joel Embiid not playing, I would probably feel a little better if the East because I just don't feel like the West has anybody that can do anything with him. So throwing a lineup of Jokic, AD, LeBron, and I think it was AD, LeBron, KD, Luka, and Shea is the starting lineup for the West. Let me look this up. Yeah, and I think that lineup is just going to be too much for the East. I don't think the East is going to be able to do much with the West. Um, Tyrese Maxey, I feel like he's good, and I definitely predicted him to be an All Star, but I feel like matching him up against Shea's going to win that matchup. I think Giannis could win his matchup depending on how hard he plays. Dame lives for these types of games. I think his ability to shoot from distance is something that's can definitely keep them in the game, but also keep it entertaining. It's going to be good to see him against Steph in an All-Star game instead of seeing them kind of competing while also on the same side of the ball or same side of the same team. But let me look at this All-Star roster. Oh, so I was right. So it's Jokic, LeBron, KD, Luka, Shea. Dang, AD not a starter? That's crazy. And then yeah, Book, Steph, AD, Ant-Man, PG, Kawhi, Cat, and then we got Giannis, JT, Halliburton, Dame Lillard, and then I would assume Bam would be the starter because Joel Embiid got hurt. Paolo at the 5 don't make sense. But Jaylen Brown, Brunson, Maxey, Donovan Mitchell, Julius Randle. Randle and Embiid are out, so Trae Young and Scotty Barnes are going to get the nod. I can see the East keeping it competitive, but I feel like the talent at the top is just going to be so much more. I know Tyrese is going to play hard. I feel like Ant's one of them people that when he gets in, he's playing hard. So I'm going to go West with Anthony Edwards winning the All-Star MVP. And thank you all for watching. Make sure, like I said at the beginning of the show, like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. I appreciate you all for watching today. If you enjoy the content, share it, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow me at KYNGRALPH on everything from Threads to Twitch, TikTok. I feel like I'm missing one. It's down there. Add an underscore for Twitter or X. And I'm out of here. And like I always end it, love, peace.